بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I express my condolences on the occasion of the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, and I hope to be rewarded by Allah on these, sorrow and sadness that you are showing to Imam al-Hussein's martyrdom and tragedy. One of the lessons that we can take benefit of that from Ashura and the uprising of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam is the lesson of piety, taqwa or zuhd in Islam. Taqwa and zuhd are very near to one another in meaning, but in English, both zuhd and taqwa are translated as to be piety or asceticism as well, but indeed there is a little bit difference between zuhd and taqwa. When we say zuhd, it means that people who are claiming that they are real Muslims, they should experience very simple and pure life, and not to attack. What we can say, if it is correct to say in this way, to detach wholeheartedly from these worldly affairs or from mundane horizon, and to connect to Allah the Almighty and the life of hereafter. Or indeed, to detach from passing life and attach to the eternal life. This is indeed the meaning of zuhd. And the meaning of taqwa is somehow a quality in the spirit of mankind, through which people can be good or can encourage themselves toward goodness, to fulfill good actions, good deeds, and to stay away from bad actions. Okay, this is the meaning of taqwa. So this quality can be placed in the heart of mankind through the practice, of course, and it needs some kind of actions. It is not so easy to say, I am muttaqi, I am zahid. No, it needs practice. We have to, put our own efforts in this way to reach some good, destination. So one of the lessons of Imam al-Hussein was his pure and simple life. He practiced taqwa in his own, life. Wholeheartedly, he practiced taqwa as well as zuhd. When we say zuhd, to be indifferent to the worldly affairs, it doesn't mean that these are very bad. You shouldn't own, properties of this life, money and, for example, gold and silver and the other things, house, are not good things. We shouldn't own them. No. It is not that. Just in opposite of what the Christians understand, the Christian people understand from zuhd, because they say, okay, if you want to practice mysticism, you have to detach from the society, just to goodbye society, and take refuge in a mountain, for example, in a cave, and just start worshiping God there, and not treat with people, not to behave anything connected to people. So disconnect from any, just manifestation of this worldly affairs and world and the other people, to protect your faith and iman, and to connect to Allah, to save God. Opposite to that narration, Islam says, La ruhbaniyata fil Islam. There is no monasticism in Islam. So zuhd in this meaning, that we detach from the society by physically, is not prescribed in Islam. But zuhd means to live with people, to have your own normal life, to establish family, and to have your own marriage, and to have your own children, job, and just enjoy your life, but wholeheartedly detach from this world. Not to love that much this world. This is the meaning of zuhd. Because of that, Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam says, لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَفَ عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ وَلَا تَفْرَحَ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكُمْ. So zuhd means that do not be happy at what you are receiving, and not to be disappointed and to be sad about what you are missing. Okay? Because these are not so important for a Muslim and mu'min. All of them are passing. All of them are dedicated to Allah the Almighty. And I myself, not wholeheartedly attached to this world. I try to detach myself, my heart, from this worldly affairs, even from my children, even from my position, even from myself. If I live in this way, then at the end of my life, I wouldn't be so nervous about losing these properties, house, my body, my family. Through very calm way, I will detach from this world if I experience zuhd in this world. One of the ahadith that is mentioned in this regard is narrated from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam about zuhd. He says, جُعِلَ الْخَيْرُ كُلُّهُ فِي بَيْتٍ وَمِفْتَاحُهُ الزُّهْدُ فِي الدُّنْيَا. If you consider a house, and if you are able to gather all the goodness and beautiful things and actions, and gather all of them and put within that house, it has one key, and the key of this house to enter the all goodness is zuhd in this world. To be pious, to be simple in having, things, properties of this world, or to be detached wholeheartedly from whatever is important for you or for the other normal people. To practice that, I don't mind these things. If I lose them, if I gain them, if I earn them, there's no different for me. So it is not different for me to gather the properties or to lose the properties. But this is something that we are claiming, I know. But in practice, that's very difficult. It needs practice. It needs try. It needs reliance on Allah the Almighty. It needs asking help. If we gather all of the things in our heart to be indifferent to whatever we are receiving and whatever we are losing, then we can claim that we are zahid in this world. This is the experience, tradition of all Imams as well as Prophets. And they taught us to be in this way. Imam Ali and the other Ahl al-Bayt, Imam al-Hussein, Imam al-Hassan, used to work themselves, but the result of that work, the achievement of that work, was shared with all Muslims, especially the poor, the people who were in need. So Imam used to just share these properties with the other needy people. This is the meaning of Zahid. Zahid means not to want many things to yourself, but to think about the others, the position that people are suffering in that position. And I do remember the hadith of Prophet when he says, "Man asbaha wa lam yahdam bi umur al-muslimin falaysa bi Muslim." So it shows that, if we practice zuhd, piety, and not to think about just only ourselves, we have to think about the others. To open your eyes in the morning and to think about the other Muslim brothers and sisters who are in need. If I think in this way, then I am a Muslim. Otherwise, I cannot call myself as a Muslim. Man asbaha wa lam yahdam bi umur al-muslimin falaysa bi Muslim. So we have to think about Muslim brothers and sisters. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was Zahid, was the greatest Zahid and pious man in his time. And people used to see that Imam is just putting on very simple clothes and working himself and just paying the things, achievements of his, works and jobs in the way of God, fi sabilillah. And it is very famous that when the needy people used to come to the door of somebody to receive something, and they ask, for example, who is the most generous one in this city? People used to show the door of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He is the most generous one. He doesn't need anything for himself. He doesn't want anything for himself. But his needs indeed are the needs of people. He is thinking about the other people. Very simple life, very pure life, because of his piety. And Ahl al-Bayt alayhimus salam just used to advise us, used to teach us to be indifferent, not to attach to this world. Because of that, when Imam al-Hussein starts his journey toward Karbala, he, gives whatever he is owning in the way of God. And he says, "Oh Allah the Almighty, I have my own self, my sisters, my brothers, my children, okay? What I own are this, okay? These things that I'm mentioning. So all of them are yours." Imam al-Hussein is coming and giving all what he owns in the way of Allah the Almighty. Sisters, brothers, and very loyal family. And we know what happened in the year of Ashura. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam addressed his companions. And he said, whoever stays here will become martyred tomorrow. And right now, I give you permission to go and leave this battlefield. Otherwise, you will become martyred. Some people remain there, protected Imam. But the other people abandoned the desert of Karbala and the camp of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. You know why? Because they were not Zahid. They were not muttaqi, pious. Because their heart was attached to this mundane horizon. And at that moment they thought about their properties, house, families, children, and wives. Because of that, they couldn't be with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, and they couldn't reach the victory, the greatest victory and this martyrdom with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. But right now is the same thing, the same case. About Imam al-Mahdi. So we say this is Imam Mahdi is our Imam right now. So if we are Zahid, then we can help Imam after his reappearance. Otherwise, if you think about our own, safety, the safety of our own family, the protection of properties, or the position that we are living in, so we cannot be the helper of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And the heart that we are owning as people, human beings, is just a place of one, one things or one person, one source. Either the place of light or the place of darkness. God is light, and whatever belongs to God is light as well, like Ahlul Bayt. For example, we love God, and through loving God, we love Ahlul Bayt, we love prophets of God. We love the people who are loving these people, and we love our parents because God said that. Okay, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. This is the statement of the Holy Quran. Because all of these teachings are Allah's, then when we love our parents, indeed we are loving God. We are practicing God's command and His instructions to us. So through that we can be Zahid, because our heart is full of the love of God and all people and the things that are connected to God, that are dedicated to Allah the Almighty. In this way we can help Imam, we can be with Imam. Otherwise, if we follow Shaitan, Shaitan places himself in our heart, then there is no God in our heart at that moment. Then the heart would become full of darkness, and then we should love this mundane horizon, our properties, the apparent life, materialistic world. Then these people cannot be with Imam, or cannot become martyred, cannot reach the eternal victory and eternal happiness like the people who left Imam in the desert of Kabbalah, and they stayed in their own materialistic life. Inshallah, I hope to be with God, you to be with God, and we to be with God. And the helper of Imam al-Mahdi through mourning and respecting Imam al-Husayn's martyrdom, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.